Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole. This marks the end of our first season. And on today's show, we're going to take you on a journey from our humble beginnings to where we are now. So stick around because we've got a great year in review. By definition, restoration of spirit is getting back to the life we were meant to live. We do this primarily in two ways, through self-care and self-discovery. And once we learn what our dreams and our passions are, some of us need a jump start to change. Restoration of spirit is about learning to discover and having the courage to live your dreams. Only through our passion can we live a life of joy. When I started the show, restoration of spirit was just a concept that I wanted to bring to the masses, and what better way than through the medium of television. So a year ago, I put myself through a 100-day challenge to change my life in order to start living my passion. When we started, I thought that I needed an official set in a real television station, and so we started the show here. Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole, and this week on the show, we're going to be talking about money. That's right, we're going to be talking about budget and finance. Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole, and this is the weekly astrology report with Jennifer Angel.
Financial freedom and financial slavery have to do primarily with how we manage our money.
And what about your guru advice for the week?
This week, Janet, I want to talk about conscious change, and you touched on it last week.
Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole. This is a brand new show where we'll be teaching you how to restore your spirit through living a happy, healthy, and whole life. So this is the set where it all began. But we knew that something just didn't feel right. And everybody told us that we should shoot the show on location at the house that I'd spent 12 years restoring, in which I learned that restoring a house is a lot like restoring your spirit. And during the process, I also learned how to reuse, recycle, and restore, which is what the show is all about. So we decided to take the show on location. Our first episode on location at my house was called Hobo Riche. We decided to teach you how to decorate rich on the budget of a hobo, hence the name Hobo Riche, which really was how to be affordable and how to be green with your decorating. Hobo Riche is more than just learning how to decorate rich on a shoestring budget. It's taking things out of one person's trash and turning it into more than just a treasure, kicking it up a notch actually to making it really rich. It's a way to be affordable, and it's also a way to be green, because by taking these items, we're going to reuse, restore, and recycle. On today's show, we're going to be interviewing Mary Ellen Stanfield, who's an interior designer and an expert in how to turn one person's trash into your treasure. With me now is Mary Ellen Stanfield. She's an interior designer and a Hobo Riche expert. That's right, she's an expert at finding old things and making them new again. Welcome, Mary Ellen.
Yeah, thanks, Janet.
So what do you have here in your hand?
Well, this is a terrarium, which is a hot item these days. And this was, of course, all hunted and gathered from a thrift store. I found this in one part of the thrift store and this in another part, but I knew this was the look, so I put them together. I have a condo in Florida. I brought back some Spanish moss because Spanish moss is a great decorating tip. You make it drippy and it gives you that riche look. If you look in the magazines, you'll see it all the time. And on that subject of magazines, that's what you have to read. You have to read the magazines. You have to watch HGTV, and you'll just begin to absorb the look.
All right, now we're going to show you how to fix and refinish a chair. So this is a great example because this is so typical of what you would find in an alley or a garage sale. It's something that's been completely worn out that the previous owner just doesn't want it anymore, so they're going to pitch it. And this is where we come in, so we find something like this and then make it new again. Here's another Hobo Riche idea that's really fun with picture frames that you can find at garage sales. So garage sales frequently have nice picture frames. You can see like this. And if they're not so nice, you can always paint them. This is one that started wood and I painted it black, but you can paint it any color. This actually came with this cheetah print inside, which is pretty ugly. But what we did was take this and paint over it, including the matting, to put it in the frame as a new finished piece. Or you can just reuse the matting if it's in good condition and put your own print in. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So if the matting is in bad shape, you can buy at a picture frame store or an art supply store a very simple matting for about $10. And so if you just take out whatever came in their matting, with any good paper cutter, you can take a print or a photograph or a print of artwork that you find in a book. You can photograph the images inside an art book and then use the photograph in your print and then stick that inside the matting. So I'm just going to tape that in real quick so you get an idea. So you have the matting and your print, and then take the garage sale frame and stick the new matting inside the old frame. On the show, I always try to bring fresh and simple and unique concepts into your life that you can easily implement. So it might be simple ways to make a change, like the power of walking. That's something that everybody can do, and it can make a tremendous change in our state, our health, and our well-being. Restoration of Spirit is a show about living a healthy, happy, and whole life. And one big piece is the body-mind-spirit connection. So without our bodies and our health, we don't have anything. I'm here today in Evanston, Illinois at a local event called Women Out Walking. It's all about health and fitness and getting back into shape. Women Out Walking is an initiative just to get women moving. It doesn't have to necessarily just be walking. Whether you walk, run, skip, or belly dance, it's all about just getting moving. Right now we're watching a bunch of Evanston women take a belly dancing class. Belly dancing is a hot new trend, especially right here in Evanston, where women can have fun, dance, move, and get in shape in order to live a healthy life. I'm here with Malik from Hip Circle Studio, where she teaches belly dancing, among other things. What else do you teach?
I have a wide variety of classes for women and their families. So we do Zumba and strength training and boxing, cardio boxing, parent-child dance, mother-daughter belly dance, breastfeeding, CPR, baby.
Wow, that's a whole lot. So why belly dancing? How did you get into that?
I started taking a belly dance class because I'm a doula. So I work with mamas in pregnancy and labor, and I learned that belly dance was good for them in terms of getting the baby out. And so I said, well, I need to go take a class, and I got hooked, and I haven't stopped.
WOW is a phenomenal community initiative to encourage women to get out moving, to either understand if you're physically moving or not. So it's an awareness campaign to encourage all women, all walks of life, in all of Evanston and the surrounding area to get out walking for 12 weeks.
Wow, it sounds great. So it's a 12-week program to get women walking together and also moving, right?
Yes, it is a 12-week program to encourage people to get moving, and the method and the journey that we use is walking. So we give women a journal. We give women a pedometer so they can track their steps, and we ask them to get on teams because we want to birth the spirit of community. And they get on teams and they record and track their own steps, and what we encourage and incentivize women is to increase their steps every week throughout the 12-week process.
And I'm here today with Tony, who's a chiropractor at the Wellness Revolution. And Tony's going to tell us some benefits to exercising.
I think, the lecture I just gave, when you talk about exercising, you literally reduce your risk for every single chronic disease that's out there. So not only do you reduce chronic diseases, so heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, but I think you look at improvements as well when you talk about libido, you talk about energy, you talk about mood. I think the literature is super clear that kind of like when you're vitamin D deficient, you get rickets, or vitamin C is scurvy. I think what we're seeing in our society right now is we're very movement deficient. And that's where we see things. When you're movement deficient, you get heart disease, you get obesity, you get cancer, you get stroke, you get diabetes. And those are the things that happen from lack of movement. So obviously when you start moving, a lot of your risk factors for those things go down.
You're watching Restoration of Spirit and our year in review. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jenny Garth. As parents, I'm sure we all remember our child's first tooth or that priceless smile after a visit from the tooth fairy. Those are special times in our kids' lives. And as a mother, I want to see those smiles last a lifetime. That's why I've teamed up with the American Association of Orthodontists. Together, we are shining a light on the importance of a healthy, beautiful smile. We all want to look and feel our best, and an attractive smile plays a huge role in our self-esteem. And while it's never too late to see an orthodontist, getting your child an orthodontic checkup early in life can make a huge difference during those teen years and in the decades to follow. Orthodontists create beautiful smiles by straightening teeth and jaws so that they are healthy and work properly. And if braces are recommended, today's hipper, sleeker models allow kids to sport their own personal style while in treatment. To learn more about how you can help your child achieve a healthy, beautiful smile, visit braces.org.
And I'm here today with Jonathan Webb, who's the coordinator for the entire Women Out Walking event, which is a 12-week initiative to get women out walking and moving. And he's going to tell us how to use a pedometer. What exactly is a pedometer?
A pedometer is a device you place on your hip. It tracks your steps. So one of the things the women like and we think will keep them motivated is just learning about how many steps they actually take during a day. And then once they figure out what that number is, then they can build upon it to see if they can improve on that number. So a pedometer is a simple step tracker.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we put it on our body then to see how many steps we're taking throughout the day, and we can also use that while we're exercising to keep track of our steps, correct?
Yes. To the first part, ideally all you want to use this for is to keep track of the number of steps you're walking. You're not supposed to use it, or it's not recommended to be used during exercise. The way you would track steps for this program if you're exercising is through a conversion chart. So for example, if you're a person who does yoga or a bicyclist, you would convert the amount of time spent doing those activities to steps, but we don't recommend you wearing this while you're exercising.
Okay, so really the only forms of exercise you're using the pedometer for is walking and running, correct?
Well, walking specifically. There are varying levels of pedometers. This is a very basic one. It costs about $9. It ranges in price and quality from $2 to $3 to anywhere up in the $30 or $40 range. And then it gets to be a little bit more technical, and they don't call it a pedometer, they call it more of an accelerometer because it keeps more accurate steps. Those type of accelerometers you could use when you're exercising. This model, we really just recommend it for walking.
Okay, so this is kind of a simple pedometer just for walking. And then how do we use it?
You'd open the pedometer from the top. They make it easy like this, so when you're flipping it down, you can easily see without taking it off what your progress has been for the day. And then you would follow the 4 steps here to set your stride, your weight, and your the time. Well, this one is a fairly basic model. There's a plastic tab here that if you pull that out, will engage the battery. That's one of the ways that when they ship it, they make sure it's not draining its battery. There's a 3-step process here where you click set to determine whether you're changing your time, your weight, or your stride. You'd use the memory button to select which one you're setting. Once you've identified the changes you need, hit set again, and you're good to go.
Oh, okay, that's simple. And then we clip it on, right?
Yes. You clip it on your hip. Ideally, you want to place it over your leg this way because the pedometer tracks your steps through the movement of your hip and your leg. So some people have a tendency, like a pager or something, to put it on the side of their body, and it's not as accurate there. So we do want to make sure it's here so the pedometer feels the movement of your leg. With this particular pedometer and with the Women Out Walking program, we're asking people to track their steps every day. Pedometers generally stop recording around 99,999 steps. So we're asking people to hit the reset button here at the end of each day. We've given people a log so they can track each step they take, the steps they've taken daily, and then weekly they'll have a total, but we don't want them to ideally not track all of it in 1 week just using this. So the reset button is there to take us back to the beginning.
Okay, well, it sounds simple enough. So I'm excited to put on my pedometer and get out there and start walking. Thanks for being with us today, Jonathan.
Thank you so much.
Nambi.
How are you?
Great to see you today. Are you ready to go walking?
Yes, I am.
All right, so am I. We have a beautiful day just for our walk.
Awesome.
But before we start that, you're going to tell us a little bit about the benefits of walking and how you got started walking. So what's your story? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I was overweight. I was 285 pounds.
Wow.
And I just started moving around, but the unique, aspect of the entire journey, I actually saw a picture of myself, like going on a family day and saw a picture of myself and wasn't happy with myself. So after that, I just started walking.
So you saw a picture of yourself as an overweight individual?
Yes.
Wow. So what did that feel like, seeing that image of yourself like that?
Feels horrible. Feels horrible. Yeah.
Had you always been overweight?
No.
So the weight just sort of crept on over the years?
Absolutely. It's kind of like I took a back seat to being active and athletics and things of that nature right out of high school. So I just decided to say, well, I look good, I feel good, everything is great, I can eat whatever I want. But, the calories wasn't there, the workouts wasn't there anymore. The discipline wasn't structured.
Wow. So you saw that photo and it just kind of was like a
wake up
call, light bulb moment, shocker.
Absolutely.
So did you immediately start walking and working out, or did it take a while for it to hit you?
No, I was in denial, self-denial for a long time. I felt like I can buy any clothes that I wanted to wear and put on, and after a while it started getting really tight. So from that point, that's when I really started kicking into walking.
Motivation. There are so many small things we can do to increase our motivation on a daily basis that don't cost us a dime. Well, in your book you have 8 pillars of motivation, so 8 things that you should do. I think the role of energy is really important, because when we do things that we feel are our purpose or that we love, it brings us that energy, and then doing things that we don't love or that might not be good for us end up draining us. And so that component of energy does, I think, play a huge role in sustaining our motivation and our drive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about the things that you really love to do, I think you can associate energy with them all the time, right? If you love to do something, you don't even think about finding energy to do it. It happens. So I think the energy is just born of the whole process.
You talk that these 8 pillars should be done ideally in order, 1 through 8. And number 1 is to define your purpose and your passion. And secondly, followed by doing what you love. So let's assume somebody knows what their general life purpose is, and talk about pillar number 2, which is doing what you love.
It took me 30 odd years to define mine. So it does take time. Sometimes right off the bat what you want to do, and you're meant to do it. You're meant to become a great musician or a painter or an engineer. But I just want to say that please be patient with yourself and take your time, because defining that purpose, it does take time, and you may try different things until you find it. But then you move on to doing something about it, right? You decide that's what you want to do, and then you try to manifest that in your life. And what your purpose is really going to be inherently what you are passionate about, and it's going to be something you are going to love to do. People who are passionate about something work really, really hard, but it's really easy to tell whether you love something if that's how we look at it. I mean, the hours fly by. You don't even think about making time for something that you love to do, because you actually schedule your whole life around it so that you can do it. And the energy comes into play here. I mean, it all comes full circle. You just start scheduling your whole life and your priorities so that you can do something you love, because then it gives you more energy and more momentum, and all of this moves you closer and closer to your purpose. I think that's where you can find true happiness and fulfillment.
You're watching Restoration of Spirit. We'll be right back.
If I ride, I will know the way the trees smell after the rain. I will grow a heart so strong that hospitals will take Tuesdays off. If I ride, road rage will turn into laughter, and oil tankers will haul chocolate milk. And I won't be a boy or a girl. I will just be a rider.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Being green in the garden. The show follows me through the course of a day, a week, and a year. So in the summer season, we talked about how to be green in the garden. And these are easy things that you can do. I don't want to get complicated and talk about solar panels or geothermal heating, things that not everybody can do. The things I want to bring are things that are simple, affordable, and that anybody can do on any budget. Today on the show, Mark Wise of GreenWise Organic Lawn Care is going to be joining us to teach us his 5-step process on how to cultivate an organic lawn, as well as give us a lot of other tips and ideas of how and why to be green in the garden. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Janet.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming out today to teach me how to go organic.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you. What do you know about organics?
Well, I don't really know a whole lot. All I know is that I don't want to use chemicals and I don't want to use anything artificial in my yard at all, and I want to be safe to the environment. The reason I went organic 5 years ago was because I had a new puppy and then a new baby on the way, and I noticed that my puppy liked to roll around in the grass a lot, and then knowing I had a baby coming and they were both going to be outside on the grass in the yard, I wanted it to be safe and chemical free. But now, 5 years later, the weeds are starting to creep in, and I'd really like to improve the appearance of the lawn, but keep it safe at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, children and dogs are the number one reason people go organic. And you have been organic and doing absolutely nothing thus far, but what you need to do is implement an organic lawn care program.
Exactly.
And that's what we can do for you at GreenWise. We have a 5-step process that we use at GreenWise. It starts off with corn gluten meal. Corn gluten meal is very nitrogen rich, feeds your lawn, and it naturally suppresses weeds when weed germination. Then we follow up with 4 applications, one in May, one in June, one in September for root development, and one last in October. What that does is it gets down 4 to 5 pounds of organic nitrogen to feed your turf consistently throughout the season. And what those do is they feed the lawn and they suppress weeds naturally. Also, they create such a healthy lawn that the lawn will naturally outcompete your weeds.
I always try to bring topics to the show that are areas of interest to me or things that I'm really passionate about or knowledgeable about. But sometimes when I want to learn something more, I explore that topic as well. So I'm always into improving my health and my vitality for life. And so I decided to learn more and do a show on raw foods. Well, I had no idea that during the show, one of the guests was going to tell us that his dish was laced with cyanide, and he jokingly said that I was dying to try it. And I had to try it before anybody else did, so I was a little bit nervous. And he also got me to eat weeds on that show, something else that I didn't realize that I was going to do, and I had no idea that a weed was a raw food and that was actually edible. This is Milton, and he's made this beautiful, would you call it fruit leather?
Yeah, it's fruit leather. It's wild choke cherries. I actually got it in Wisconsin. I was staying at a farm share, and so just picked it from the trees. What I did is I put it in the refrigerator for a couple days, and that helps sweeten the berries. And then I mashed it in a mortar and pestle. It smelled wonderful. It smelled like almonds, but that almond smell is actually hydrogen cyanide,
Interesting.
which is poisonous. So in order to neutralize that, you have to cook it a little bit. So I put it in the dehydrator at 135. Because I put it at a higher temperature, that neutralizes some of the constituents of the cherries, which is, in this case, what we want. And because you're actually getting into the pits, it has a wonderful almond flavor.
Well, it looks great. I know everybody's dying to try it, so. I can't wait either.
Yeah, have a bite.
All right, so I get to be the first here?
Yeah. Just a little corner there is fine, and yeah, just like I said, chew it until starts to get really crunchy, and don't don't try too much more.
You're watching Restoration of Spirit and our year in review. We'll be right back.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap snacks Sunday. All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday. Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday. Eat well and move a lot. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Today is Saturday. All the healthy children, all the healthy children. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
When we moved the show on location, we knew that we were going to have to create a new format for the show. And since we were going to be moving around a lot from place to place within the house, inside, outside, and maybe even to other locations, we thought that a moving introduction would be the best. So we created what we call our walking intro to the show. Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole, and we have a great show in store for you today. We're going to teach you how to decorate rich on the budget of a hobo. Hi, I'm Janet Cole, and welcome to Restoration of Spirit. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the restorative powers of walking. Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole, and on today's show, we're going to be teaching you about organic lawn care. Early in my on-air career, I hosted a movie review show, and back then, Gene Siskel was my idol, still is. He always asked a signature question at the end of every interview, what do you know for sure? And Oprah took on that question and pretty much made it famous today. So I decided that I would have my own signature question at the end of every show. So I started getting in the habit of asking every guest who came on what they do to restore their spirit. Well, thanks so much, Mark, for coming out and teaching us about how to go green in our yard and a little bit about organic yard care. And I have one final question for you. What do you do to restore your spirit?
You're gonna think this is really cheesy, but Greenwise, it's a green company. I get to give back to the community.
And what's something that you do to restore your spirit?
I meditate, and I used to fight meditation for the longest time, Janet, but I'm very active and lots of energy. It's really hard for me to sit still for a few minutes, but I make myself, and it is amazing. It actually helps with a lot of creativity in writing and creating stuff.
So log on to restorationofspirit.com and tell us how you restore your spirit. I'm Janet Cole, host of Restoration of Spirit. 2011 was a great year on the show. We learned all about the power of walking, the 8 pillars of motivation, how to be open-minded about the foods we eat and how to cook creatively in the kitchen, how to decorate rich on a limited budget, and that happiness is a choice. I know that in 2012 we're going to learn many more ways on how to restore our spirits. So join us at restorationofspirit.com for local show times or watch a show on demand. And join us on Facebook.